Well, good morning, and welcome to the Utah Valley Technology and Genealogy Group, our August meeting for 2025. And we'll begin with our opening prayer by Jerry Castillo.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity to gather together and to participate in this family history instruction time, and we're grateful for our speaker today. We ask Thy Spirit to be with all who attend. May our speaker be able to communicate that which you would have us understand and know, that it may benefit our ability to do work and our research for our families. We ask Thy Spirit to attend us this day in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you very much. So beyond welcoming everybody who's here today, I'd like to also welcome those who will watch this later. And we're glad to have you and hope this will be useful. For those watching live, please put your questions in the chat on Zoom or in the comments on Facebook, and we'll address those at the end of the session. The handout is available. It's in the chat on Zoom, and I presume it's posted on Facebook. And also note in the chat that there'll be a message with Carol's two internet addresses. One is her YouTube channel, and the other one is her regular website, where she has a lot of helpful material. All right. So just one thing I'd like to mention. There's so many wildfires burning, and this always makes me think about whether or not I have my genealogy materials, my family history materials, and those things that I hope to pass on safely stored and hopefully electronically reproduced in the event of disaster. So please always think about that. Our speaker today is Carol Hill, who is our resident social media and family history expert. And today she's going to be talking about what happened to FamilySearch indexing and what we can do now to be helpful. So the description of this class is that FamilySearch indexing in its traditional form concluded this year on April 21st. And this marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new approach to driven by technological advancements. So Carol's going to give us the big how to and where to of all this. So FamilySearch needs volunteers. Just because you're not indexing doesn't mean there's not something to do. And if you'll, I don't know if you've noticed the Get Involved section on FamilySearch, but some of what we can do involves AI and being checkers instead of original extractors. So you can do this on your computer at home or your mobile device. So, and I hear it's a lot easier than indexing. So that'll be fun to hear about. Carol received her family history degree from BYU with an emphasis on Southern states research. So keep that in mind. There's not a whole lot of people who specialize in that. And it's definitely different in the way the records work and how things were done than our typical upper Midwest or New England.
Talk about burning.
What?
Talk about burning. All the
Oh, yes.
county buildings were burned.
I've got a good map I should show you about that. And Carol's also currently serving a 16-hour-a-week FamilySearch support mission, taking phone calls and answering. So if you want somebody in the know about what's going on, this is somebody you want to keep track of. And you'll notice that she often writes articles for the newsletter, and we depend on her to kind of keep us up on what's the latest going on there. So, she has, she says in her bio, besides her loving husband, 6 children, and 31 grandchildren, her favorite pastime is to help others with their family history. And she really means this. She has a YouTube channel where she shares short videos about how to do things on FamilySearch and other genealogy websites. And she also posts videos on her website. And like I said, those will be in the chat, so you can just grab those or post it on Facebook. Well, thank you very much. And Carol, take it away.
Okay. Geez, thank you so much. That was such a great introduction. I really appreciate that. And I will make sure you see my screen okay?
Looks
Are you seeing my
great.
screen? Okay, good. Okay. Okay, let me get things worked around here. Okay. All right. So, yeah, my title of the class, and I really appreciate the prayer. And Laurie, thank you so much for that sweet introduction again. You're so sweet, and everything that you said is very nice. And anyway, but we're going to go ahead and talk about what happened to Family Search indexing. We sometimes get calls at Family Search support of like, my gosh, what happened to that? And so I'm hoping that this will help you understand what happened and the way that you can get involved and help as well. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about the evolution of indexing. So first off, our fourth prophet in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was President Wilford Woodruff, and he received a vision about the importance of family history, finding your family histories, and then being able to be sealed in the temple together. And so in 1894, President Woodruff oversaw the establishment of the Genealogical Society of Utah, which led to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' current worldwide effort to help all people search out their ancestors. So it's not only for the Church of Jesus Christ, but we want to help everyone find their ancestors. And I loved this picture that I found. This is a pre-1917 Genealogical Society of Utah. And I thought, I don't know where it was exactly, but it looks like probably just in someone's maybe kitchen or something, or family room. There's a wood stove there and a roll top desk, and the people are starting to work on records. And I love that picture. The Society's goals included maintaining a genealogical library for the benefit of Society members and others. And the goal prompted Society leaders, like there was Joseph Fielding Smith and Joseph Christensen. They went and visited genealogical libraries back in the eastern United States. And they looked at the card catalogs, their filing system, and index systems. And then upon their return, they put their new knowledge to good use to index the Society's rapidly growing library collections. Their efforts received high praise from a visiting genealogist from Chicago who said their indexing system was the finest he had ever seen. So I thought that was neat to hear even way back then that they were doing such a great job. Their accomplishments helped lay the groundwork for future indexing efforts. And at the very bottom, I don't know if you can see that. This came mainly from a blog on FamilySearch, and that'll be in the handout too that you'll receive. Okay, so let's go to part two. So we're just going to keep going on this evolution. Before the computer era, church members manually typed names from historical records onto 3x5 index cards. And one early project was transcribing information from grave markers. So even way before Find a Grave, people were going in just on a 3x5 card instead of your mobile app. And then in the 1960s, there was a flexo writer that made it possible to produce output on punched paper tapes. Then the data on the tapes was transferred to a magnetic tape, which then was fed into a computer. And I don't know, it didn't say how long that took, but I wonder how long that took. So to improve accuracy of this process, each historical record was indexed by two volunteers, and then the computer compared the two indexes and provided a list of differences for investigation and reconciliation. Okay, so that's just a picture. I love this picture of this flexo writer. It reminds me a little bit about when my husband started computer programming way back. They had to do punch cards, and it kind of reminds me of that. So then in 2 years later, in 1962, the church began calling volunteer missionaries to do name extraction, and that's what it was called then. This involved extracting data from paper records to create online records, a process still called indexing. Some used the Flexo writers, but soon volunteers were able to enter information directly into computer terminals. Okay, so now we move forward to indexing meets the internet. At this point, even with help from technology, indexing was a very complicated effort with many manual steps. This historian, I'm not sure how to say the first name, but Mayer described the process. So he said how staff and missionaries at church headquarters burned images from a single microfilm onto several compact discs, and then they mailed them out. On the receiving end, stake extraction directors would break down a batch further and travel to each home to copy the images to an indexer's computer and then return to pick up the index data of a completed batch. Then the directors would have to return the data to headquarters. That piece of the process was improved in 2001 as stake directors began to email indexing data back to headquarters. Still, most of the process remained manual. So could you imagine all this that we had to do back then? So in 2005, FamilySearch's desktop indexing was initially released. This involved downloading a desktop application, which then allowed volunteers to access and index digital images of historical records, making them searchable online. And many of you, I'm sure, remember that. And I love the statistics that there is about how long these processes took. So it had taken 17 years to index 50 million names in the 1880 US Census. In contrast, indexing the 76 million names in the 1900 census only took 11 months in 2006 and 2007. So from 17 years to 11 months. That's so amazing. But going forward in 2012, 132 million names in 1940 census took us only 4 months. So I love how, you can just see this process moving faster and faster over time. Okay, so then we keep going. It's really a process of development. In early 2017, indexing transitioned to a web-based system, making it easier for volunteers to participate. This involved working on batches and submitting them when completed. And so many of you may have been involved in this, and that's just a screenshot of what that looked like. And it was great because you could just do that just from your home and work on it. And so that was really wonderful. So this was a great improvement. However, there was a long process in getting a batch ready for volunteers to index. And I had talked to my trainer that trained us on the Get Involved, and which is kind of an ongoing thing. And she said it could take up to 2 years to get the batch just ready to be able to index. There was a lot of legal processes they had to go to. They would have to get the rights from the record custodians. So it took a while to get these. And that's why I even think FamilySearch is excited to use more of the AI, because this took a long time to get these ready for people to index. So, and just if you don't know, we have 30 million records in the Granite Vault in Salt Lake City, with records being added every day. When I'm even on calls on FamilySearch support, I'll have individuals call, and it could be from a little library, it could be from just an individual, and they're always like, we have all these records, what can we do with them? And because they don't want them, to, like Laurie said, be burned or caught in a fire, they want them to be preserved. And so we have 30 million so far, but we do have countries and communities that are asking FamilySearch to help preserve them. 30% of the records have been indexed, so that's great. But this would take 100 years to index the rest of these records with the web-based indexing. So how can we speed this up? This was something that FamilySearch, thought about a lot. So as Lori said, we had the end of indexing in the traditional form. It concluded on April of this year. And so it marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new approach driven by the technological advancements. And so FamilySearch really needs volunteers to get involved. And you're going to be checking AI generated information. And what's really nice, like Lori said, she said it was a lot faster, and it is a lot faster. Instead of having to type out all the records from scratch, you're just going to review and edit information that AI finds and make sure the names are accurate. And that's the thing that we need volunteers for, is because AI will be able to sometimes pick out a name and it'll try to, do it correctly, but it messes up. So still need human interaction. And there is one part that's on the mobile, which I'm going to show you here. And we need your help. We need everyone's help. Okay, so what FamilySearch decided to do was, instead of just calling it indexing, they're calling it Get Involved, because it's going to involve a lot of different activities that volunteers can do. And so far, there's 3 different featured indexing activities. So it still is indexing, but it's just changed. So the first one so far that we have is quick name review. And all you do on that one is you review a first or last name, and you just make sure it's transcribed correctly. And I'm going to go over all of these in a minute. And then the second one is a full name review. And all that is you're going to review a person's entire name and make sure that it's translated correctly. And then indexing review over here, that was called family review, which is really what it is, but they changed it to indexing review. And that means you're going to find all members of a family on one document and make sure they're correct. So we are going to show you in a minute. Okay, so a couple things that are important to remember is that we're teaching AI how to read names so that they can become searchable, so that we can go and search and it'll bring up these documents. So one thing, if you enjoy doing this and want to try it, make sure to pay attention to detail and try to be really accurate. Make sure the names are actually a name. Sometimes AI will think something's a name and it's not, doesn't refer to a person. We'll show you that. Select not a person if it's not a person. Original transcription will be available as well as the one you add. So if you do make a mistake, it's always going to have the original one too. So it's nice to have, both of those available. And then what's really nice about these indexing activities is that if you can't read it, the writing, just skip it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Just skip it and go on to the next one. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the mobile app, because this is probably the easiest. And what's really nice about this is that you can, if you're waiting in line, if you're in the car and your husband's driving, if you're anywhere, you can actually sometimes I would do it at night when I couldn't sleep. And that probably made me not sleep more and more, but but I would do it at night sometimes. But you can just do so many, and you can do it anywhere. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on any kind of mobile device. So you could also do it on an iPad, tablet. And that's really nice because you can just use your fingers to move around and go really quick. So we have, and the only one I was telling you about, those 3 indexing activities. On the mobile app, there's just the name review. And so you can get it on the Google Play or the App Store. And you're just going to download it. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm not going to do this one live. I just made up screenshots. So hopefully you can understand what I'm doing. And then once you download it, do you see this icon here with the blue with the tree? This is like the FamilySearch icon when you're trying to find it on your phone or other mobile device. And this is just what it's going to look like, just the light blue. So just so that you know, that's what you're going to look for on your phone once it's downloaded. Sometimes I get too many apps and I can't find things. Okay, so if I were just to click and open up the app, this is what I will see. It just says find names to review, search millions of documents. And if you can't find something that you want to do, you can check back. But there's a lot of things added here on the app. The second part down shows the country location. You can right now you see I have United States, and I don't know if you can see this. I'm hoping it's big enough. Under that, it shows that it's English. but there are many countries there, and it'll say what language it is in. So if you know a different language, that's awesome. If you can help with those other languages, it's great. And then underneath that, it says state or province. And I just have Alabama. You can pick. You don't have to, it's optional. And then down here too, if you want, and I tried this a few times, you can add a last name of one of your ancestors. And that would be fun if you were able to actually index one of your ancestors' names. So I didn't find any of those, but you might. And then all you'll do is review names. And then down at the bottom, you can see on the left, we're on review right now. And then we're going to talk about the other two later. There's contributions down there in the middle, and then there's more with the three dots. So we're going to talk about that too. So, but first we're just going to do the review. So when I do review names, this is the next screen that comes up. It'll show you up here, done, 1 of 20. So it gives you 20 names. There's this little information that tells you, and I'll go over that in a few screenshots. And then all it does is it highlights in yellow the name that you're supposed to make sure is correct. And then it puts here in the next one what its guess is. So to me, it says JAS for James. And so down here, you can say match if it's right. You can edit it. And then you can just put in sure, like I said, and that'll skip it. And then this little flag here, you can click on that to do not a person. So you can tell it, because that's what we're trying to do, is train it to know if it's a person or not. So what you do then, so what I did is I clicked in edit, and then I get the little cursor come up, and then I can just make the change. So I put JAS for James. And I probably should have put James, because I was thinking in the instructions it says you can. Sometimes they tell you to put exactly what it says, and then sometimes it'll tell you to, if it's abbreviated, to spell it out. So anyway, just watch for that. I'll show you that in a minute when we're on there. Okay, so you just make the change, and then you just click the done button right there. Okay, so then this is the second one. So this is 2 of 20, and then this says McBee, so the AI guessed that one right? It looks like M, capital M, and then CMBEE. And then all I have to do is put match. The reason why I wanted to put this one on, though, once you go to the next screens, you've got this little back arrow that if you think about it and think, oh, I made a mistake on that, you can go back and correct it. So that's that little back arrow there that you can use to go backwards. Okay, and then this screenshot, I just wanted to show you, if you click that flag, it says flag as not a person or incorrect highlight. And I asked my trainer about the incorrect highlight. I think she sounded like we just used the not a person, because if it's incorrect, it's not a person too. So, okay, so that's if you hit that little flag, that'll come up. Okay, on this screenshot, I wanted to show you how with your fingers, you can, move it in so you can see the whole document. And it might be hard for you to see here, but it shows up here, the little yellow, the highlight. So just if you're, just so that you know, you don't have to just stay on this really zoomed in. Maybe you need to look around and see if you're trying to figure out a character and you can't figure it out. You can, zoom and go around the screen so that you can find some other handwriting. And sometimes that way you can figure out with a different word, if it's an S or an L or something that looks the same. And then if you want to go, you can click on there. You can just click on the highlight. It should bring it back to normal, or else down here in the bottom, do you see this little square? You can also just click on that. It'll take you back up to the highlight. It sounds like it's hard, but it's not hard. Just trying to go through it so slowly. You can get going on these really fast. Okay, and then once you get done, it'll just say thank you. Now more people can be found by their families. And then it asks you if you're ready to review more. It does, the default is 20, but then there's 30, 50. And you can say maybe later. And you know what? If you want to quit before you get to 20, you can. You can just quit it, and it saves your numbers that you've done. So anyway, okay. So that's the app. Okay, so this up here is the little information, the little I that's up there at the top. This is what comes up. It just has tips to review records. When in doubt, skip it. If you can't read a name, don't worry about it, just skip it. And then do your best. Type in the name as best you can. And then, like I was telling you, compare the letter shapes from words, find similar characters on the document, like I just had said, where you can see if you can figure it out. And then check for additional highlighting. So this part was hard to show. When a person has multiple names, the highlighting may all appear on one line or it may continue on the next. So scroll around to make sure that you get all the highlights. And then with compound names, type all the names that are highlighted, and you don't need to hyphenate. If you review a name that breaks across the lines and goes to the next line, you don't need to do the hyphen. And then, like I said here, I just remember type the full name if it's abbreviated. So I did that wrong. So you might make mistakes, and that's okay. We're just all learning. And this is so new, it's changing. So, but look at that information, the little information thing to get the tips. Okay, and then this is what's really fun. When you open the app, you can, like I said at the bottom, there's the review down there and then contributions. So this is showing contributions. So this is showing how many I have done in the different months. And this is really fun just to see. I'm not sure what was going on in May, but I had more then. And then it tells you all the names that you've reviewed right there. And then also up at the top here, there's some other contributions that you can look at. And I'm going to do this on the website. It's the same on the website. So I'm just going to do that and show you how that comes up. It's really neat how the things that you index, FamilySearch sends you on this page. You can look at the impact that you've had, how people were able to find a name, or for those of Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they were able to take a name to the temple because you indexed. So it's really neat to be able to see those. Okay, and then this is just the more. If you go down the third down here on the bottom says more with the three dots. If you click on that, first off is the learn how to review names. And so if you want a little help, this gives you you can just it's a little practice. So you can just do that if you need to. The settings is just like on your FamilySearch account. There's the settings that you have there, your account settings. Give app feedback. So if you click on that, and I didn't do a screenshot, it sends an email to FamilySearch. So you can fill it out. You can say if you're frustrated with things, and you can also say if you love things. A lot of times we get more people that are frustrated than those that love it. So it's always fun to give positive feedback as well. And then there's other apps. And I thought this was interesting. So other apps that just shows the family tree. Like I said, there's that logo, FamilySearch Memories, which some of you may have. And then there's this FamilySearch Together. And this is also a new thing. I don't know if we've talked about it, but it's a fun activity kind of app that you can do with grandchildren and everyone in your family. And then there's just acknowledgments and sign out. So that's again on the more button. Okay, so that's the app. And at the end, if you have questions, let me know. I think I'm going to try to get through this just to make sure I get through all of it. And just if you have questions, let me know as we, at the end. So we're going to go ahead. This is the FamilySearch website now, because this is the place where you're going to be able to do more different indexing activities. And you'll just go to FamilySearch and you'll see the logo, and then it's the get involved. And that's why they changed it to get involved, because that's just where you're going to go find it on the website. Okay, so I am going to go live. We'll keep our fingers crossed that this works. Okay. All right, so we are going to go. I'm going to go ahead. There's this overview, which you can just look at. I'm not going to worry about that to save time. It also has a little practice test that you can do if you want to do that before you start. But I'm going to click on the opportunities. And once you're in this view, you can also we're going to show the impact at the end. And then also there's some other things up there. But once you're in this view, you don't always have to go to that, get involved. So anyway, here we go. Here's those three activities we talked about. I'm going to just show this quick just to show you it's pretty much the same. The quick name review is pretty close to the mobile app. It's the same thing. It just looks a little different. So I wanted to just show you that. This one. So this says quick name review 1 of 20, same thing as the app. And then over here, what's really nice though, and this just, I don't think this has been here. So you can click here on this little, it might be hard for everyone to see. It's a handwriting little sample. So that's nice. If you are having a problem reading the handwriting, you can always pick that up. And I know the indexing had that. And then this other one is a share button. You can share it on Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp. You can also like email it or copy the link. So maybe if it's a record that you just want to share or anyway, there's that share button there. And then over here on the right too, there's this little filter where you can adjust the image. So you can invert it, contrast it. So if you're having a hard time seeing it, then you can adjust the image. This one right here just resets the view. So if you've zoomed out or zoomed in and you don't know where you are, you can just reset the view there. And then there's the zoom out and the zoom in button. So just wanted to make you aware of that. And then down on the bottom here is the same as what we see in the app. It says match, edit, unsure. And then instead of the little flag, they just put not a person. That's why in the app, I always put not a person. And then one thing too, I wanted to mention is there's a feedback button way over on the left-hand side so that if there is any feedback that you need to give, do it right on the page you're at, and then that'll go directly to the software engineers, and that's really helpful for them to see if there's problems. So we are here and we are going to, I was just going to do a couple, I'm going to zoom a little so maybe you can see it. So it says the computer thinks it's CW, which looks right to me, so I'm just going to match. And then this looks like it says Wilkins, so I'm going to just say match. Okay, and that says Sarah J. Wow, these are good. See, it's getting better already, and that's Wilkins. I'm just going to say match. Do you see how fast it is? Okay, and on here, I can't see that as well, so I can just drag and move that over. Robert, I don't think that says N. I'm just going to put unsure, I'm not for sure, just to show you. And then that says Saunders match. Okay, I wanted to show you one. Okay, so this one's right, but I wanted to show you, you can either put edit and it comes up with the little cursor, or you can just click in the box if you need to edit it. So and that one's a good one too. And then Matthews. Okay, anyway, that's all you do. So I'm going to go ahead. See, I already did 9 of 20. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to go ahead and back out of this so that I can show you the other ones because they're a little different. And what's nice, you see, any names that you review, it adds it and it keeps track for you. So it's fun to be able to see what you've done. Okay, so now I'm going to show get the full name review. And let's do Alabama. These are a little bit too hard to read earlier, so hopefully I can find some good ones. Okay, so now on this full name review, there is, what's really nice is there's the handwriting sample as well, and the share, and then the other ones are the same. So before you actually, start doing this, it says here is the full name highlighted. So we have to check for prefixes, suffixes, maiden names, and married names. And then you can also add and remove highlights in the next step. So here it's saying, so it asks me, is the full name highlighted? And as you can see, it looks like the D for his first name, the D, the initial's not. So I would say no, that it's not all highlighted. And then I'm going to add a new highlight. And usually I can just click here. And then I can also kind of pull this so it gets the whole thing. And sometimes you don't want to be really close to the next one. I don't know why. And then you just attach it. Okay, so now I've got DC Graham. And then I would just go next. Okay, and then you click there. Okay, so here's the C. And then here, if I click there, AI thinks that's an I. So I would just delete that and put D. And if there is a period, you do want to add the periods. If there's not, don't worry about it. And then down here is Graham. Okay, so the C should be second. And so what you can do, you can just grab this little thing and put it where it should go. So now it should be DC. Okay, and then you just put next. And then on this one too, you just make sure when you click in the box, this says DC and then this says Graham. Okay, then you can put done. Okay, so this one says William M. Allison. So again, is the full name highlighted? You can just put yes. Okay, and then you're going to click in here. So William should only be in this box. And then if I click the M, then that's going to go in this box. And then Allison is in that one. And I can click next, check them, make sure it's William M. and Allison, and then put done. Okay, so this looks like George W. Allison. Okay, so I can also say yes, George W. Okay, on this one, I'm just going to do what it's, what it is there instead of correcting and putting George. Okay, next. Because when I was trained on this, they were saying just do what's written. So, okay, done. I wanted to see if there was something. Okay, let's see. This one, okay. This one has multiple, let's put no that it's not highlighted correctly. And then what we want to do is like move this. We don't want to have like periods. Okay. So that should be AF Tomlin. And then put next, and we'll see what happened here. Maybe that's an H. Maybe that is H. Okay. So it looks like it is an H. H. F period. Tomlin. Okay. And then next. Okay. And then make sure it's right. HF. Usually that comes up fine. Okay. And then I'm going to do one more. I wanted to show you, let's say that there was a Mr. or a Mrs. on the front. And I'm going to put no, the full name's not highlighted. And then I'm going to add, to do that, you have to add this highlight. So let's say there was doctor something. So here's the highlight. And then what you could do is pull it. Okay, then that's highlighted. And then I would put next. Okay, so I would have different boxes. Oh no. All right, there's some other things too. Anyway, you see when I click in here, there's a period. So I want to go back and get rid of that. Okay, so I want to detach that. Okay, now let's go next and see if we have everything. Okay, so I have George. Okay, I'm just going to show you, and then I'm going to go back and read and delete this. W, period. And then let's say that this should have been doctor, which see how that came up there. It shows blue. And then I would just pull this up so that it's, in front. And actually, we'd probably want to put that this is this name prefix update. And then we would drag this up to the name prefix. So anyway, that's a little more confusing. Huh? That's how that works. And then we'd go next, and then we just make sure Allison. Okay, so I'm going to go back because I don't want to save that since I did that. Okay. All right. Okay, anyway, I wanted to show you that. So that's the full name review. That's a little bit more tricky. I noticed in some comments on Facebook that someone said it was more boring, but this one's a little bit more tricky. And some of you that want something a little harder to do, that would be a little bit. And you're welcome to call us. I'll have the number for for FamilySearch help, and just call us if you're in the middle and not sure what to do. And we're also making up some articles that you can look at. Those are coming that'll explain better how to do all this. So that's the full name review. And now let me show you get the index review. And there's a note down here. So this is the whole family, getting the family off of the record. It says the inventory for this activity is currently limited. And thanks for your patience as we work to improve this experience. So please check back. So it really is like, this is just a new thing that hasn't been out very long. And so there's going to be some problems, and that's why we need everyone's help too, to say, hey, there's something wrong with this, right? And I need help. Okay, so I found, and there's several. Let me show you right here. Country or location. There's a lot of countries. I was trying to figure out which one I could actually transcribe or index. And the one that I found the best for English is the Panama. So let's see, hopefully it's still like it was. So we're going to go to Panama, and I'll show you what this family. Okay, so see how it says family review, but it says indexing review over there. So that's changing is what I was told. So on this one, you get the screen. I'm glad that everything looks the same on the website, but this is really nice because right here are instructions. And I think this will happen I think they're going to have to put that on that the full name review as well. So it just gives you what you should do. You find the primary person, and then you review their name, and then verify the events. This is something you can just go through and then review and submit. So I just wanted you to know that that's up here, the instructions. And then another thing too is frequently asked questions. So this really, you might want to, if you're having troubles too, if you want to try it, you can look through these frequently asked questions as well. Okay, so that's the instructions, and there's also the handwriting, the share, and everything else. Okay, so on this, what it asks, you just look up at the top for the question on the right. This is step 1 of 4. Is this record primarily about Carmen Della Rodriguez Correa? I might have butchered that. And then, as you can see, so you look at the highlights, Carmen Della Rodriguez Correa, which it is, and you'd put yes. Okay, and so then what this does is you're going to figure out these other people on here, how they're related. So what you're going to do is, here's her name, Carmen Della Rodriguez Correa. It looks like that was, the AI did pretty good. It got it all right. So you can just say correct. Whoops. Okay, and then this says the father is Marcelino. Is that right? Yep. And then Rodriguez. So you can put correct. Okay. And then the godfather. I'm going to zoom that in. Is this name Hurbides? Okay. So I'm just going to put correct on that. And then this says the godmother. So you just make sure the name's right. Okay, that looks right. And then, yeah, this is a person here. This isn't a direct relationship, so you just put correct. It's not a direct relationship. And then here's the mother, Eladia Carrera de Rodrigo. I think, yeah, and so we're just going to do the highlights, and then that's correct. Whoops, I don't know why that keeps doing that. Okay, and then there's another one. Oh, yeah, maybe we do need to do that. See, this is just like, okay, so let's see if I can actually remove it. Let's just remove that because that's actually part of. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's edit her again. So it sounds like they do want us to put, I would put day, if I can type, Rodriguez. Okay. and then you can save. Okay, so then we've got the primary person, the father, the godfather, godmother, then the no direct, and then the mother. And then it says, is everyone in this record correct? And I can put, yes, everyone is here. Okay, and then it takes me to, no, it's still there. Okay. Are these events correct for this person? And then you would look the name. Okay, so you look at the record and make sure, I gotta move this around, that it's the, yeah, so it's the date 29 of August. Okay, that's correct, right? 1963. Okay, I think it says 1963, so we change that to 63. Okay. Okay, and then it shows his birth as 17th of December, 1954. So that's correct. Okay. Is everyone accounted for? Yes. And then you submit it. So, and I'm going to put maybe later. So this was a little more, this takes a little bit more doing. So also, if that's something that you like, then you can do this index review. This is a little more involved if it's something that you want to do that will take a little bit longer and that you have to, do a little, really make sure you're accurate on that as well. And so those are the three, the quick name, full name, indexing review. And then I just wanted to show you these. I'm not going to show them in detail, but as I said, this is the indexing opportunities, those three, and then the tree opportunities. There's a verify places. So if you enjoy looking at different places and making sure they're correct, what this does, the tree opportunities, it goes through FamilySearch tree and it finds it's in the profiles of your ancestors. And if there's a place that's not correct, then you get to go and try to help make sure that's a good place and that it's, you're verifying the places. And then there's this new one, and I haven't even looked at this record hint review. So I wanted you to see all the different volunteer opportunities that you can have. And I know that was kind of quick. And then at the end, before we go to questions, I wanted to show you your impact. And this is a thing that really touched me when I came, and I just came across this. No one had shown me that this was here. So down here, well, here at the first, so if you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it says right here that I verified a place. So I did do the verified places for Louis Alfred Sorg on 21st of May, 2025. And then his name was taken to the temple. And then here it says you attached Jabe F. Avery's name on 17th of March, 2025. His name was taken to the Rexburg Temple. And then right here, I index Milton Francis Miles' name on 20th of October, 2019. His name was taken to the Panama City Panama Temple, we were just looking at those Panama records. So that's kind of fun that was. And so that was different things I did. I verified place, I attached a record, and I indexed. And so that's showing just the various things that helped. So, and on this one says people you helped find, which I have 2,311 people. And it shows me that on indexing, I had 1,200, name review 658, other review 461. So this shows me this Jane Catherine Kinzel. Someone recently attached a record from Jane Catherine Kinzel to Family Tree. You made her name findable when you reviewed her. I can't talk. You reviewed her name on 10th of May, 2022. So this goes back, and tells you about, these are more that I attached the records. So that's really neat. And you can click on these different ones to see. Looks like it stayed the same. So that's just really neat to be able to feel like, I love that, because when you do these little indexing activities, it shows you how you're helping others. And that just really touched my heart when I saw this. And then this right here shows your worldwide contributions. So this shows my quick name review, my full name, my indexing, verified places, and then the 1950 census, even back when I worked on that quite a long time ago. And then there's England, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and you can just see, I don't know if I have any more. I don't know if I do. Let's see. Oh, it shows I do. Yeah. So there's just goes on and on the different areas that you help with. So it's so fun to be able to see this. I just love this part of it, seeing your impact that you've had. And then this also is awesome. It says, here's where you'll find a record of your contributions. Thank you for your service. And so if you're feeling down and need a little boost, this shows some that you can get an award from indexing. So the desktop, which is kind of neat since we went over that, how it's evolved. There's the desktop, the web indexing, and the 1950 census is what it's showing. So anyway, that's that. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to my presentation. I know that was kind of quick. If you have any questions, please let me know. And then I wanted to tell you too, because I asked our supervisor, like, okay, should we have people join the community and ask for help? Should we, what was the other way? I had some other ways that we could ask for help. Oh, email. Now, email was okay, but she said it is fine if you call. So if you're doing indexing and you need help, we do have a get involved. Just select the get involved option. And we do have some missionaries. Not all of them are trained yet. We do have missionaries that will answer and can help you. And then this is the number for US, Canada. And then if you go to the little help widget on the top right on FamilySearch, and the drop down, do contact us, and you will see all these maps. So if you're from a different country, you can figure out the phone, or sometimes countries have to use the WhatsApp too. So, and then that's the contact us. Okay. So do we have any questions? Anything at all? I know I kind of went through that quick.
Oh,
I haven't seen any postings of questions on
Okay.
on Facebook.
I have a question.
Okay.
And I was trying to, some of the spots where the names like GEO period, they were just
Uh-huh.
abbreviated with the period. And I wasn't, I know on the initials you seem to put the periods, but on those names where they're just been abbreviated, do you put the period on there? Because sometimes I think you did and sometimes you didn't, but
Yeah. Well, when I went over this a little bit with my supervisor to make sure I knew, and it was interesting. Like I said, when we were doing that full name review, she said to make sure and just, you know, extract it the way it shows. So if it does have a period, put it. If it doesn't, don't put it. But then as far as, when you look at the instructions on the app, it tells you to do the full name.
spell
So
it out.
I think just so, I
Yeah,
mean,
they
make
kind of
sure
need
that,
to, they need to
yeah.
make up their mind.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, I mean, it's still evolving and I think that, but at least people will know it's George, right? If it's GE.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I think, like I said, do your best and just do ensure too. That's one thing I like is that you can always just say, I don't know and skip it. So,
Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, that looked doable.
yeah, yeah. So you tried on the app on your phone or were you doing it on the,
Oh no, I was just watching you do it, but I was thinking about I can do German, so
yeah.
I've done some research in Swedish and German and Italian and French and Dutch. So
Uh-huh.
that could be that could be a fun way to you know, if if you have ancestors from a certain country and you're trying to get more familiar with the handwriting and things, this could be a way to work on that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you've got that handwriting sample, especially for the old records, right?
Yeah.
Some,
Yes.
sometimes you can't. I was doing some in Georgia the other day, and man, the handwriting was so bad. It was so hard. You're like, oh no. So,
I heard the 1870 census is really fun in the South. Well, I've used it too, but because it was Northerners trying to understand the Southern accent while they were,
Right.
taking down the census. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
I
That
have a
is
question.
hard.
a lot of things that can impact it.
Yeah.
I have a question too.
Okay.
While you were talking, I downloaded the app onto my phone, and
Oh, good.
one of the first things it asked me to check was the countries for which the service was available, and Germany was missing.
It
Oh
was.
They don't
no.
have
Oh
So
they
no.
don't have Germany on the list yet.
does it have it on the website?
I didn't check on the
Let me
website.
see really quick. And yeah, I could look. Anyway, go ahead. What were you going
Yeah.
to say though?
Anyway, I just noted that there were so many languages
Country.
available there that
Yeah.
it surprised me. I
Oh,
mean, look at that list.
it's not
Oh,
German. You're right. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to go. Yeah,
oh,
there's
bummer.
not Germany. What about the full name? Let me see if there is on the full name. Um,
Oh, it could be different on all three areas, I
there's
guess.
not either. So you need to
What?
get feedback. See, you could click the feedback over here, say, go over here, click feedback and say, when are German records? Are they all done?
And they're not.
And I don't think there's any on here either, because this was, well, let's look. No, yeah, that's
A bummer.
interesting that there's no German.
That's really
Sorry.
curious.
I have German ancestors too. So,
Oh,
Well,
yes.
yeah.
So anyway, it's fun. This verify places is pretty
It
fun.
does say check back often at the top of the
Right,
list in the app. That's because things are being added all the time, and so
right. Well, and if and
we'll
then
see.
so if you do the feedback, let me just show you too this feedback. When you click feedback, you'll get this face. And so you have to click on the face. Like I said, do some likes, but you can just you click on one and then you just say what you would like to share. So I mean, you could just even ask. I don't know if you can put an email. They don't necessarily email. It's just more that they take, they'll look at what you're saying. So but you can always comment. I mean, it is really good. They really do look at it. They tell us that
Okay,
they are appreciative,
good.
but like I said, they're appreciative if you like it too.
Thank you. This
we
sure is
sometimes
a
spell
far
them.
cry from the extraction work that I was
I
doing 35 years ago.
right.
Oh
I was the
gosh,
I, I was the
that
extraction chief. And
but it's similar. You know, you're looking instead of looking at cards or copies of images
Right.
that you're trying to put onto cards. Yeah, you're still have that challenge. I like the fact that you have the way of looking at the whole page where the name
Hmm.
you're working on is located, so that you
Right.
can check the handwriting, like you were saying, there may be a word you recognize, so you see how the particular writer was forming his letters to help you identify ones that are not clear.
Right. Yeah, because that's so helpful, huh? If you can find it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, and it's fast. Like I said, especially on your app, it's so
yeah.
fast.
yeah.
And it's
That's nice.
yeah, I'm glad
Well,
that
I
you
hope
have.
this,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I hope it ends up going faster as far as how many things are being done and prepared. Yeah,
Well, and like I said, it was hard. I didn't realize it took so long to get like a batch. It took 2 or 3 years to just do a project, not a batch, but a project. To
yeah.
do all the, where you enter everything. And so this amazing that it's just amazing. AI is helping even family history, as we all know. It's probably why it came about.
Yeah. Oh, that was really helpful.
Yeah, I hope
I
everybody
do
will get
have
involved.
a comment on Facebook now.
Okay.
from Bruchelle, who, by the way, mentioned that she was watching from Wyoming.
Oh, good.
She
Hi.
says, on full name review, if there are several lines of names highlighted, what do you do to correct this? How do you know which name to do?
Yeah, that's a good question because I did come across that today. So if I would say if the one that comes up first, do that one, and you may need to delete all those other ones. And that's going to be a little bit of pain, or click the feedback button and tell them. So, but
Yeah.
but I had that same thing happen, and I was glad I didn't have to show that. That would have taken a while, but yeah, that's what I did. She say on the full name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see if she can get rid of those other, just do the one that comes up first.
Good. Conrad also asks a question. He says, "Are we going to work the 1950 census any further?"
I don't know on that. I haven't heard anything. Does it still need to be indexed?
Well, indexing, you don't index all the information.
Oh, right,
Is what I'm
right.
guessing he's referring
Mhm.
to. Uh, uh, it would be nice if all the information was searchable, but
Yeah,
at least with what is being identified, you can click on it and see the record to see the other information.
right.
But so I'm assuming that's what Conrad is asking.
Yeah, and I could see that happening, but I would think it would be a long time since you can get to the information. Even this, they're just trying to get the names out so you're able to, when you search for names, it'll bring other records up, So I would think that would, since there's still 60 million records, probably I would say
Oh,
no, but I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, and they keep adding to that list
Yes,
always. Yeah,
Yes.
they
there's
do.
still imaging stuff out there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
oh
really
yeah.
neat. Like I said, when we get calls and they don't know what to do with it, you know. So it is good. Church has the
Yeah.
lot of
Well, you
record.
have to prioritize what you're going to do. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, thank you.
I
Oh, go
on
ahead.
one
don't.
on one of your earlier slides, you were quoting a man who worked for the Family Search. It's his name is Kalile Meyer.
Oh, is that how you say it? Okay.
Yes, I
I
know
should have
him
asked you.
I know him personally.
Oh, that's
He
so
was one of the
neat.
people that um, I took a class from early in my German research career.
Oh, nice.
It was teaching us, how to go about that, how to recognize the letters and everything. So
Yeah. Oh, that's neat.
really, really a kind man, taught me a lot. So
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. That's so neat that you knew him.
yeah.
It's,
And I know his name sounds like he's going to be, I don't know, like from the Middle East or something, but he's just a Utah
oh, okay.
white guy. So parents, I'd
That's
love to
really
know where his
neat.
parents, why they chose that name, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's like a guy. I know I was the extraction chief in our stake when we were making the
You were?
IGI. We had a regular extraction chief, that were just going through like, church records or something. But I was the extraction chief over the conversion of the temple records to the IGI.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'd worked on that for 3 years, and it was quite a laborious process, because the people had filled out the cards and then typists would type the cards, and there were two people filling out cards and two typists typing them. And yeah, it was kind of a complex deal, but I really enjoyed it and learned about a lot about the records then. But I can see where this will make it, well, the fact that you can, back then people actually had to come to the stake center and type on our computer for the
Oh,
records to clock in with Salt Lake. And so, being able to do this anywhere, anytime on the bus, whatnot. Um, yeah.
yeah, that is nice about the app. I was thinking about that too. I'm in the car and I'm like, I could just sit there and be doing a bunch of these on the app. You can do so many in a minute. I mean, you can do,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
impressive how you were
yeah,
whipping through those on
yeah. So,
that first name recognition one. I was like, cool.
yeah,
And I
it's
noticed, I
changing.
noticed like I've been, I'm always on the computer using FamilySearch and others and putting families together. And I notice that sometimes, a lot of time, a lot more than it used to happen anyway, it comes up where it says, oh, thank the person who did this.
Yeah,
And then you click on it and then they get a message. And I don't know if that has anything to do with where they're clocking the numbers, but I guess they're probably taking the numbers from the person actually doing the
right, right.
activity. But I thought that's I think that's really nice to be able to give a thank you to somebody who
Yeah, I have seen that. I know I can't remember. I think I received one once, and that was just really nice.
uh,
That they said thanks. I don't know if it came in here.
that's
But
really nice that you were showing us how they'll tell you if a name was taken to the temple and stuff like that. Now, my
yeah.
my other question was, is this only for members to do, or can
No,
non-members
everybody can
participate?
do it. I was just saying that if you're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you'll see that temple, that it was taken to the temple. But no, everybody will see the My Impact except for that.
Ah, okay, good. I just think that's quite motivational.
Yeah, like I said, the first time I was actually at a YSA stake and I was showing indexing to them, and they just had to get involved and that showed up. And I'm not kidding, I just felt so warm inside that, I'd helped with that. It just really,
Uh,
and then you can see, how you helped, exactly how you helped, where it went. So yeah, it's really neat.
well, that's really cool. Appreciated that. Are there any other questions? I can't see any here on Zoom.
That's
Just
all on Facebook.
Okay,
now, if
good.
somebody is watching this later, how are they able to see the chat messages or?
On Facebook, the comments are permanently attached to the video. So they'll be able to see everything, including the postings of your YouTube channel and handout and your
Okay.
website, as well as the questions. On Zoom, the chat is saved, but it's not accessible directly.
Oh, so we'll just have to make sure this is in the newsletter. Okay. Um, for the Zoom personnel. Okay, very good. Well, I always appreciate the best compliment I ever got on a class I taught was somebody came up to me afterwards and said, I think I can do that. And I said, you're darn right you can. And that's what I would say to your class today was, yeah, I feel like I could get in there and get something done. So I
Figure
hope
it out.
everybody will think about that and realize
Yeah.
that, you know, you may be stuck on your own genealogy for a while or something, but so you can or you're on a terrifically hard research case and you could just do this to uncurl your nerves for a while or something.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good
Or
idea.
I got to the point when I was, in the mom years, but I always had a paperback book shoved in a notepad shoved in my purse because I was always waiting for somebody somewhere doing something. And this would be another one of those things that moms could do for during all the time that they spend with
Yeah,
kids.
that's true. Waiting for your kids to come out to the car on the line at school. So
Waiting
waiting at
for
the
those,
doctor's office.
waiting for those dentist appointments, waiting
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, in fact, you might get to where you're like, wait a minute, I can't go back yet. I gotta finish.
Yeah.
No, I think it's such an awesome thing. It just, makes the work go much faster, makes us find our ancestors so much. My thing is I have so many, since I do Southern states, I have so many blocks,
Yes.
roadblocks, and I just think, well, maybe if I do this, one day something will come up.
So if you do this, maybe you'll find your own, but maybe
Right.
you'll,
Yeah.
so how that works with I saw that the other day on online where you can just pick a surname and you can just look at that.
You mean like on the indexing, on that
Uh-huh.
reviewing? Yeah, you can. There's that option to pick, and I did that, like I said, for a while. I didn't really find anything, but yeah, you can. You can just, put, and sometimes it will do it. So here I could put last name. I can put, do I put Castillo? I can put George. George is our last name, and they were in Alabama. And then sometimes, let me see what it tells you. Oh, it looks like it may have found some, but it'll still just take you. No, see, it doesn't come up right away as George. So not sure how
Oh, look
that
at
works,
that.
if it works.
That name Underwood right there. That's one of my family surnames. That's
Me
just
too. Me
my
too.
mother.
We need to get together. Really?
Oh, you're an
Oh, we
Underwood
should.
too?
Yeah, I have it way back. That's what I'm stuck on.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we go clear back in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. They were Quakers. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I know
Yeah.
something about some of them. A lot of them were in Ohio and Indiana, just kind of.
Mine were in North Carolina, but
Oh, you know,
it still could be related.
I was actually doing something in Missouri on a different family, and I noticed the name Underwood, and I looked, and it was one of my Underwoods that had moved to the south. So
Oh,
it
wow.
was my family. So yeah, interesting. That's cool. Yeah, I'd like to try that too. Oh, I have a couple of really unusual names that I research, and their names, they get misspelled so often, or there's certain variations of it. And I thought, well, maybe I could bring more clarity to that just because I've been through it. So
Yeah,
yeah, so there's a lot of different ways we could be helpful. Well, does
right.
Laurie,
anybody
you want to
else?
close this for the recording?
Sure. Um, I guess there was no further questions.
We can keep talking.
Yeah, we could. Well, thank you for this presentation today, and
You're
I
welcome.
hope that we all need to share this to our friends and neighbors and relatives so that we can get more done and showing them that it's not horribly difficult, that you can pick something that's at your level. Been really helpful. So appreciate that, and we will hope to see all of you next month for our next meeting. I don't know if we have the speaker for that yet, do we?
No.
No. Okay. And well, stay tuned. Watch. We'll announce it as soon as we know. And well, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Carol.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.